Oh, here we go, 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 go. New mic. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today, we're testing out this new microphone I've got today. So I shared that over there on Twitter the other day. I said, hey, you know what? Little secret that I've been using a $60 headset to record every video for my YouTube channel, every single one. So now we've got this one. We're giving it a shot. You're probably going to hear every little, every breath I take, every echo in this room. You probably hear every throat clearing and every hard swallow and every. So ASMR. So, all right, guys. Let's do it again. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we've got chaotic price action over here on the Bitcoin price chart and in the altcoin market. Primarily, we're going to focus on Bitcoin today. And let me stop this before, guys. Don't. I appreciate the donations, but don't donate like trying to get me to like look at certain charts and stuff like that. Save your money, man. Save your money. This is all good. This is just having fun here. But this is like a big moment, right? If you guys caught today's video, that video's gotten quite a bit of views for being out. It's normal in price action like this. Thank you guys. Thank you, Rick Dirks Jr. and Romano for the super chats. We're going to dive into some of the content here. I always like to take care of people who rewatch this thing too. And so to understand where we're at, and they have a little bit, more than just watching me. And there we go. I just hit the microphone. Let's see if that caused some feedback there. But today, we're trying out a new mic. We're looking at the prices that are going on over here on Bitcoin. And if you caught this morning's video, we watched this thing very closely in here. We saw that the price came back down. It hit trend. We were like, hey, if this thing continues to follow what it's been following for the last 5.5 months, this is exactly what we saw. We saw this quick dip that would take it down. And if it's going to continue doing what it's done, like in the next 2 to 4 hours, we'll see it pop right back up. And sure enough, it did pop right back up. It was crazy. It was when I was in the middle of uploading the video, the price fired right up to $39,000. But what we can clearly see happening right now, it's come back down. So it's a wild, volatile time. We're going to catch it in real time. I'll talk about the things that I've been watching on here, still watching. Do we even have our answer just yet for Bitcoin on whether or not this price level is going to hold here yet? I don't know, but I'll show you the things that I'm looking at. For those who are newly watching, you should all know it by now. We've been following this thing for 5.5 months at this point. The anticipation that if you look at the time scale of how this thing has worked, right on time, we've come back to hit trend. While the fractal is like not mirror perfect, what we recognized within the fractal was that it was actually a trend line back test. So we recognized that was what was going on in there. If you guys know, you follow my channel, I don't talk about trend lines too often because I don't really like trend lines. They will get violated left and right. They will break. It's so hard to have real rules. Everybody wants to rely on trend lines because they're so easy, but they do just get violated so often. But we know we've been following the fractal. We know that that's what happened to it last time. So we kept it in the back of our mind during this time period of, hey, that's something we'll be watching out for. Even though this structurally looks different and dips down lower, the big thing on the radar was the actual trend line. So we have hit the trend line this morning. We did bounce off of it. We head up to 39,000, and we can see we've pulled back a little bit already and seeing some volatility, which is a little bit different. It does show us staying down in here for really the rest of the week. If you look at it from a time scale on how long that takes you out there, February 25th, you're still here. You're still below 40K right in here until February 26th if this thing continues to follow. So that's what we're at right now. That's what we're watching right now to see, is this thing going to still hold us? So it's a super intense time. And, we may in this live stream catch something happen. Does the fractal break or does it continue to hold? the thing I've shown on the channel over and over again for the people who especially have been with us through a lot of the tough times that we've gone through has gone through the inverted or the inverse price chart of Bitcoin. And I don't think we've answered that question yet on whether or not that's what's going to happen. I've shown this versus Bitcoin. I've shown this versus the gold to silver ratio. And we just don't have that answer. And so the thing is, if it goes to 30 or 33, it's not like it's, doing anything we didn't anticipate. I think a lot of us have our hopes set, including me, have our hopes set that this thing does hold, have our hopes set that, hey, this thing's going to fire right back up to, $58,000 by next month. And we see some raging, roaring alt season that happens into that moment like we saw back in 2018. But right now, where we're at, it makes you wonder too, right? Who is really doing this? There is legitimately no way. I mean, I just can't imagine it, right? Me with my little tinfoil hat on, that there's no way all of this can happen like this organically, right? Especially when it's happening on the exact same time perspective. So whoever's got their finger on Bitcoin and making this happen, at what point are they going to change it? At what point are they going to change the timing of it? So we have a blueprint. We keep following the blueprint, and until the blueprint deviates, we just kind of sit back and wait. But right now, we know with the blueprint that they've been playing with, or the market's been playing with, and the crazy thing is to say, what if it's not? What if it really is just a collective psychology of all of us, and nothing has changed, and we're all the exact same people, and our emotions are causing all this to happen at the exact same time? That's just a whole different level of crazy to even think about. That brings in the simulation theory, right? That's what I talk about. Either simulation theory, God's in control of it, or there's puppet masters, right? Pulling the puppet strings, right? So we're here right now, man. So we'll see what happens in there. But let's say this breaks, right? Let's say we get the break and we get the deviation away from it, and this thing is no longer valid anymore. This is where we're at. This is kind of like you can say, I don't want to say it as like, this is my last line of hope, right? This is more of just, this is what the structures typically do. And that's why I've shown the gold to silver ratio, XRP, and Bitcoin, that this is what happens. And for those who are watching and don't understand what this is just Bitcoin from an inverted perspective. This is the way you're used to looking at it. But this is what reversal structures look like. And this is how Bitcoin reversed back in 2018. Way down here, you can see how down here on the bottom side of the screen that cursor's moving along with it. This is the area from what a longer term reversal can look like. And you guys know that. You guys have all watched a lot of this. Got a lot of regular viewers. I always appreciate that. By the way, I'm on a new mic. 3,700 people in here listening to me on the new mic. What's going on? But that's where we're at. I'm going to put us on here just for a minute while I'm going through these things. And while I'm reading those super chats, I don't want to do anything that's going to make me miss this. So let's add an alert real quick. And that way I'm not this thing's breaking down and y'all are yelling in the chat. And I'm like, hey, well, thanks for the super chat. First of all, thank you guys for the super chats. It's very kind. I'm going to try to get in them and try not to get so delayed as I did last time. Try to move this pretty quick. Again, thank you, Rick Dirks Jr., Romano Frau, thank you, Zachary Dix, thank you so much, Jackie Moon. I watched that movie the other night. What was that? What's that movie? It's got Will Ferrell in it. And then I wanted to watch The Ladies Man too, because it's got that same actor in it. Anyway, all right, moving on. Technic, super chat. Any thoughts on Zilliqa? Seems like a good one. Again, guys, remember, please don't spend your money trying to get me to go over specific coins. Let's just hang out. Let's have a good time. There's just, what happens. I get so far behind on these things. There's no way for me to catch up, and I don't want you guys to spend your money hoping that I'm going to be able to cover what you cover, and it's just there's not enough time for me to do it. But hey, how does the mic sound? Does it sound like there's a big echo in here? So I was playing a lot with the audio settings before I started. That's what it sounds like. I think I'm gonna have to go to a music store and buy a bunch of those brick things to put on the wall to make it sound a whole lot better. Once in a while. Mike, yeah. So if I get back here probably, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You probably hear some echo right now if I talk loud further away from the mic, right? All right, it's a learning process, right? No echo, perfect audio, nice. There's a bit of echo, yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys. You're so responsive and helpful. Thank you. All right. For those just tuning in, obviously we're watching to see what's happening here, right? We were this morning in this morning's video. It was like, hey, what this thing has normally done is bounced up back to 39,000. It did it. Boom. We pulled right back down. So high intensity volatility happening right now for Bitcoin on whether or not this thing is going to continue hold. And see, one thing I'm not used to, I keep hitting this microphone with my hand because I use my hands when I talk in here. Which anybody ever notice that Gary Gensler uses his hands a lot? Drives me crazy. All right. All right. Mike, sounds great. But thank you, Technic G. Bradley Pierce with the super chat. Thank you so much. Crypto Ghosts, before you mention company owner starter, what is it? What is it you do? What's the name of it? That's a lot about my personal stuff. Yeah, but I dealt with a lot of international trade. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Crypto Ghost. Lane McMurdy with the super chat. BCB the legend, what are your thoughts on upcoming financial depression? What might it be like in your eyes? Well, likely it's going to be a black swan that none of us can predict, right? I mean, that's the reality of how they usually happen. It's some type of event none of us could predict. And I'm going to bet there's going to be somebody in here who's going to ask a question about all the geopolitical stuff going on in the world. And I can like ramble about that, but there's no way for me to really know. There's no way for any of us to really know, right? I mean, how much information are we getting that is true over the internet, over Twitter and news sources and whatever, and the true picture of the chess that's being played? You know, we're all fed the information that are, you know, we're supposed to read. I don't know what's really happening on the geopolitical scale of all of that. And then we'll touch on that too. We're going to talk about narratives too. Anybody else notice there's like 4 big narratives right now? You have the big geopolitical stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine. You have the Canada, right? Canada emergency stuff going on right now. You have Federal Reserve interest rate hike fear. And then you also have, what's the other one? Oh, right, the crypto stuff out of the White House coming pretty soon, right? So like notice how all those things are happening after prices have moved down. And then go back and think about the narratives that were up here. None. But then you get down here, boom, you get hit with all 4 of those all at the same time, right? Crazy the way the world works. Oh, man, on to Adam Waddell. And I don't even know. Waddell. Man, thank you. That's insane. I don't even know how to thank something like that because it's so crazy. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for all the content and helping us all through these markets, BCB. We appreciate you, brother. God bless. God bless you, Adam. That's amazing. Thank you for that support. That's insanity. And Tall Dallas Gal, too. Geez, thank you. Missed the last one. Always grateful. Thanks again for all your hard work and research. Thank you. And then thank you, guys. Adam and Tall Dallas Gal, everybody. That's crazy. Thank you very much. Sonzy420. Thank you, BCB. Thank you, Sans. Jose Reyes, you the GOAT. Oh, man, thank you. Thank you, Jose. It's very generous. Appreciate it. Code 9, super chat. Thank you, Zachary Dix. This is awesome because I'm catching up, guys. That might help if I tell you guys, hey, don't donate if you want like one altcoin looked at. This kind of keeps me on pace. This works good. Code 9. And then Zachary Dix with the super chat. Spamoni, Jackie Moon from Semi Pro. Yeah. Well, what was it like when he was in the cage with the lion? We're all gonna die. All right. Again, for those just tuning in, we're watching the volatility. If you've been watching the videos throughout the week, you know where we are. Here we are. I need to put the trend line back on the screen so we can all see what's going on with that. There we go. And of course, if you're tuning in like within the last minute, you're realizing, wow, that blockchain backer voice, it is crisp and smooth. That's true. It is. Oh, but I'm also using a new mic. So excuse any technical difficulties with the mic. I don't know how much of the extra, like, you know, swallowing and lip smacking you'll hear, but we'll work on it. It'll take some time. All right, there we go. So we saw the trend line back. Let's get rid of the big old yellow thing, right? Do we get rid of this too? Do we get rid of that? Is that better? That'll just make life easier. Or we like color. We like color. Color's cool. All right. So what was I talking about? I was talking about lions and semi-pro. Thank you, Zachary. Patrick Z, Crypto Heroes from Caro and Aslan are recommending you big time on this on his channel from Germany. Sweet. Haven't heard of them. That's awesome. Storm MC, you called it again, BCB, longtime viewer checking in. Mic has slight echo, but not bad. Yeah. So that's what I noticed when I was playing around with the mic was all the echo that was happening in here. So that's going to be something I have to work on. And I don't know. And so, after talking to a couple of buddies, it's reverb is what is happening here. And so I have to figure out a way to filter out this reverb, not just being like in settings, but also like modifying my room. In my room that I have here, I'm actually like pointed towards the mic right now. I'm scared I'm going to pop the mic if I face it directly. So I kind of like turn sideways to it. But I don't even know where I was going with it. I don't know. I've got a lot of stuff in my office. That's what you're supposed to do. So like I have hard floors. I don't have carpet in here, but I put a big rug in the office to make it like help reduce the bouncing of echo. And then I put a bunch of plants in here, fake plants. I put a bunch of stuff because that's what what you're supposed to do, right? Help like stop the sound from bouncing around everywhere. But you can still hear it. I don't know. Work in progress. Give me a couple of weeks to hopefully refine it in. All right. But thank you, Storm MC. Technic G has super chatted, but I didn't want analysis. Wondering if you had any thoughts about it. Oh, no. It doesn't bother me, man. So what happens is sometimes in Technic G, it doesn't bother. It's not bothering me. But what happens is you can see I get so far behind. So like that if I stopped to look at that one altcoin, it slows me down big time. And then what happens is like 30 more will come in with the same kind of request. And then we're like, I'm like super behind. You know what I mean? I just don't want to do that because I did that last time, and I was like 40 minutes behind people. And part of me, if I had like super chatted somebody and they took 40 minutes to acknowledge me, I would think it was pretty rude. So that's just kind of me trying to think of it from their perspective. So everybody save your money. As for Zilliqa, I don't really know much about Zilliqa. I know it was around in 2017. It was in 2018. I owned some of it at some point. I didn't own some of it. I stopped owning it back, I believe, in 2018. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this into other stuff instead. And since then, I haven't owned any Zilliqa. And I haven't followed it. So sorry. But there you go. Sebastian with Super Chat. Oh, thank you. Can you compare the top of Maze? Elon Musk says Bitcoin's bad. 702 retracement for Bitcoin on the one to now. The follow. Okay. Can you compare the top of Maze, Elon retracement 702 for Bitcoin to the one now? The fall, bottom, and retrace. Well, we'll look at Bitcoin, but what we know is that when Bitcoin did this, right? So Bitcoin went straight line down, and then Bitcoin had a 702 Fibonacci retracement, right? It's just standard. And then it rolls over, and then it heads straight down, right? So right now, Bitcoin's had zero retracement come in here. I'll hide everything real quick. We've had zero real retracement come in here for Bitcoin. And so my anticipation, based on the fact that the total, the market cap of Bitcoin has hit a 4.236 extension. It's not me being a bear. It's not me being anything in particular. You just call it saying I'm just a bear. It just feels weird. I've been in this market so long, just there's periods where you think the price is going to go up and periods where you think the price is going to go down. And, if it hits the 4.236 extension, what my thought process is, we go back in for a retracement and then we get something like that. And what this fractal did, right? So if I expanded this one out and if it did do this, I don't usually show this part here because it just gets too long and it makes it hard for me to stretch. But the next phase of this fractal, if this thing keeps going, which I could never in my wildest dreams imagine this thing continuing out that long. But if it did, the fractal takes you all the way down to 8,000. That's where it goes next. So, but that's something we're going to worry about another time. Right now, we're just kind of like, hey, all right, let's get through this phase first, right? Let's see if we can get an alt season to happen. And let's see if we can get a retracement to come in. But I stick with my bearish hypothesis on Bitcoin. And the complete reality of it is it's hard to not be bearish long term on Bitcoin. And when I say long term, just really, whenever we can have a new cycle, right? Everybody's got their own long term. Is your long term 1 year? I see people say, I have to wait 1 week, you know, or, you know, is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? And what is your long term? If your long term is 10 years, well, no, whatever, man. But you know, when I think of long term on Bitcoin, I'm doing big, massive cycle swings, and typically these things move in like 4 years, right? 4.5 years is how these big cycles happen, and we see massive pull up and massive drawdown. But short term, I don't even know where I was going with that. Start rambling. You know, looking for a retrace and then expecting that it's likely going to get rejected, and that what we see here, this whole fractal that's happening in here, this is bear market stuff, man. This is not bull market. This is full blown bear market Bitcoin price behavior. There's no debating it. I mean, this is pulled straight from a bear market. So this is pulled straight from right there. So this was not price action that occurred before prices started ripping higher, or consolidation that ripped higher. This is price action that eventually led to a retracement, that eventually led to a full-blown capitulation crash. And that's what we have happening in here after Bitcoin's market cap hit a 4.236 extension. So thing we're all looking for, can we get the retracement to come out right now? If not, it's looking more like we're having something like this. And, you know, if this thing plays out right in here, right? What are you looking at? Heading up here, you got yourself an A, B, C. Long time period, right? Hard to know. There's going to be somebody who goes on Twitter and saw me freehand that and said, he said May of 2023. I don't have a way to predict time. Gotten lucky guessing the last couple of days, but I'm not going to guess anymore. That was too much luck, and I don't want to stretch my luck. So no more guessing on time. And, you know, even this morning got lucky, but all right, moving on. I hope that answered Sebastian. I didn't really understand your question, so I just kind of went with a couple of things there. Jason Jenkins, super chat. I could feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. Okay, cool. Kunal, but thank you, Jason. Kunal Amaretto, super chat. Do altcoins have 702 retrace if we miss selling the top? Watching from South Africa. Much love. Do altcoins have a 702 retracement if we miss selling the top? Well, right. So historically, what happened in the last bull run is that as Bitcoin went into its retracement, as Bitcoin reached its top and went back into this is where altcoins topped at. So if that's what's going to happen there, great. You know, Ethereum did a couple 702 retracements after it topped back there on November 10th. And each altcoin independently acts in its own way. So I would say, like, I live and breathe within a particular chart to understand how that particular chart behaves. I know that Bitcoin historically behaves on this 702. It's so incredibly common. I mean, you see it happen right here, right? We'll put us on smaller time frames. You see it happen right here. You see it happen right here, right? You see it happen right here. So it's something that happens all the time with Bitcoin. Each altcoin is going to have its kind of like own unique thing, and you have to kind of like live and breathe in a chart to determine how does this one typically behave. There's different market makers on each different coin. But what we know based on history, right? If we've seen what has happened before, it was into this moment, that's where all the tops came in. Maybe that's what this is right here, right? Maybe this is like, maybe the altcoins go pumping into some huge run up to here, right? And then boom, that's where the top of the altcoin market comes in. And then Bitcoin falls, right? Bitcoin retraces back to the 702 retracement in here, right? And this is where the altcoins go back into a 702 retracement, and then the plunge of the entire market happens all at the same time. We don't know. We'll have to see how it happens when it happens. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Rise like super chat from the gold and silver ratio fractal. Looks like the asset you want to be in for the near future would be silver. If I'm reading it correctly, correct. In the short term, I would come to the same conclusion, at least until it got back down to like 70 or something like that, right? it looks like it's about to head into an ABC. So, right. So for me, in particular, I haven't been stacking any gold this year. I was stacking gold last year. I have not been stacking gold this year. I've only been stacking silver, but very little amounts of it. But it's only been silver. It's been no gold due to the gold to silver ratio. So that's how I interpret it too. Thank you. Curry Bays with the super chat. At this rate, altcoins should be getting to roar beginning of March. Do you think it will break or continue the uptrend? Well, I don't know you're talking about this right here. Do I think this will break or do I think this will continue the uptrend? Right? Do you think it will break or continue the trend? Appreciate you, BCB. Right. I don't know if this is going to hold. I don't know if the market makers are going to continue running this ridiculous fractal that they have perfectly for 5.5 months. So far, they still are. And so far, they're still doing it right on time. It's just silly, right? From a time perspective of how this thing has been behaving and that it came back for a trend line backtest this morning. So I don't know if they're going to keep it going. This is what typically happens in these situations, right? So the inverse structure, this is what typically happens. But as long as they're still doing this thing, all I'm doing is fighting against the current by saying it's not going to do it anymore when it has for 5.5 months. So it's just kind of a waiting game to see when do they let go of continuing it. But one thing in your question was that, hey, we see the altcoins beginning to roar near the beginning of March. I would sure hope if this is holding, and I guess this is kind of late February, early March. I would hope if this thing is holding, and if we're heading back in that direction, that we start seeing it going a little bit earlier. I've spent some time over the last couple of weeks talking about it. We went diving into the previous alt seasons that happened in 2018, that all of them, some of them as little as 10 days, right? But like XRP was 27 days, some stuff was 40 days, some stuff was 31 days. That's the length of how long alt seasons have lasted from what we've seen happen before. So if that's the time scale that we have to work with, and that's the only assumption I can make is just based on what has happened before, then I would hope that it would start a little bit earlier than that, or if this thing just takes a little bit longer to drag out, one way or the other. We'll see. But thank you. I gotta go faster, guys, because I'm getting behind again. I'm spending too much time on some stuff when I should be moving. Jason V, wish I could give you more for all you do. Thank you. Where's my finances right now? Well, thank you, James. I appreciate it. Jai Teak, super chat. Thank you very much. Clip City. Where's the BCB merch coming out? Your blessing. Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that, man. It's on my list that and my list is like 2 months old now that I'm supposed to turn that back on, but I never end up turning it on. I'll work on it, which is literally what I've said for 1.5 years. I'll work on it. I'll work on just flipping that little switch so it turns it back on. My wife will get on me about that, so we'll see. For those just tuning in, it looks like there's a lot of people in here. There's 5,800 people in here. That's pretty insane. If you could, please hit the like button. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. You're also listening to my voice in silky smooth, high definition through a Shure microphone, which means you get to hear every breath I take and swallow. KM with a super chat. Thank you for everything, BCB. Thank you very much. Pitbull, your old mic was good enough, but with your new one, the sound switched between loud and quiet. But the hey, sexy brother, you done your homework and watched the last. Right. So somebody. Yeah. So this was brought up a lot in my last live stream. Hey, did you watch the Barris case for Alicio XRP? And I was like, and in that stream, I was like, wait a minute, somebody had just sent me him saying it's going to $8. And I went back and looked at it, and like 8 days before my live stream, his video was saying we're going to over $8. So I don't know if it was, hedging, 2 different videos put out for 2 different calls. But there was a video on January 29th that presents the Elliott Wave case of going to over $8. So check that one out. January 29th. Thank you. Rick B. I've heard theories that the money typically meant for altcoins went to NFTs this cycle, and then we may not see an alt season. Thoughts? I have no way to speculate on that rumor. I just don't have a way to do it. But, believe what you want. I don't know. Is he SC Dow 13? I just can't expand on that, right? I don't know. Brother. Thank you, Rick. SC Dow 13 super chat. Do you look at the XRP Bitcoin chart to see how strong XRP is compared to Bitcoin? Right. So that chart typically only moves big at big alt season moves. So, and I actually did a video a couple weeks ago where we looked through lots of the different altcoin over Bitcoin pairings. And I don't spend a whole lot of time on them because there's just not much to say about them until they break out. Like we can look at their big macro structure of what they look like and look at what macro structures of altcoins have looked like prior to big alt seasons. In my opinion, which is not investment advice and I'm not a financial advisor, they all look very similar to what happened prior to a big explosion beating out Bitcoin. And then we also know that the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance is where it is. It's already had a big fall like it did back in 2017. And if that falls, that would indicate that all of those break out at the same time. So it's just a kind of waiting game. I don't see too much point of spending too much time focusing on one individual altcoin versus Bitcoin because they usually all move up at the same time. That's just how alt seasons have worked. So that's why I don't spend too much time on them. I think what really happens is it's more focused on the USD value. And then, if we start seeing breakouts versus Bitcoin collectively, then it becomes something to look at. So, all right, I got to keep going. Frank, super chat. Hey, BCB, will you blast the Fringle XRP song? I don't know what that is when XRP moves. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. Ryan B with the super chat. Can you elaborate on the market cap charts hitting their fib levels? It makes sense to account for the added supply and circulation since previous cycles, correct? Like Bitcoin has more coins now than 2017. Yeah, exactly, right? So more coins times current price equals market cap, right? And so the market cap, what we noticed was market caps had hit their 4.236 extensions. We were only 3 or 4% below. So Bitcoin rose over 2,000% in this bull run. And while we were there at $69,000, $68,000, I'm screaming like everybody's chasing 4 to 5% more. That's all they're going for, 4 to 5% more. The way down is much lower. And then turns out it just didn't even give you the 4 to 5%, but it gave 2,000. But it goes to show a lot about sentiment, right? And what happens with sentiment. How many people were chasing 100K? It still just boggles my mind of the minimal percentages that the general public was chasing. This big round number of 100K. Same thing for Dogecoin, right? When Dogecoin was 70 cents, this big round number of $1. I'm holding to $1. It's like super duper duper important to me to get $1. And same thing for Bitcoin, right? Like the number just wasn't that far away. But none of the charts, I built every case I possibly could to say Bitcoin was not going to 100K. But either way, that's not your question. Market cap. Yeah, market cap, more coins in circulation times current price. So total circulated supply times price equals market cap. Sebastian. Yeah, so Sebastian Barros. Yeah, so exactly. So you said what I meant was that fall back in May. Funny enough, it retraces 702 in Altcoin Mania. Right, so you saw it right there too. You saw similar behavior when Bitcoin was retracing here to this 702 retracement. Way back in here, altcoins were riding up during that time period, like in here. So this was an altcoin move time period as well into that 702 retracement. Exactly. Toby White, super chat. Is it true what it says on Wiki about UBCB? I didn't even know I had a Wiki. That's cool. Yes, it's all true. Sam J, thoughts on Bitcoin plus Ethereum dominance chart? I haven't looked at it in a couple of days. I think what we're waiting on is this. Is this going to hold? If this is going to hold, my fingers are crossed. We see the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance chart finally break. That's kind of where I'm at. I think we need to do more of a video on that than dive into it in a live stream. So I'll try to cover that into. I'm not going to have a video tomorrow, guys. I am going on Thinking Crypto with Tony. I'm not doing a live stream. I think it's pre-recorded. But I'm doing an interview with him, so that'll be coming out on his channel. I have no idea when that's coming out. I don't even know if it's live. Maybe it is live. I don't think it is. I think he pre-records all those. But that's tomorrow, so there won't be a video tomorrow unless I can find some way to work in the time, but I don't know if I will be able to. Either way, for all those watching live right now, I kind of do this over and over again and repeat this. If you caught this morning's video, we saw that the price of Bitcoin did fall back and hit the trend line that we've been following for right on cue. Bitcoin's been moving right as it should. And we were talking about, well, hey, look, if this thing is going to continue to follow, then what we saw happen is within the next like 2 to 4 hours, you see Bitcoin fire right back up to $39,000. Sure enough, the price fired right back up to $39,000 as I was exporting the video. But as we can see that what has happened here, it's fallen all the way back down again. So big question is, are we holding? Right? We know it came back down again to these price levels, but like this is like taking days, right? This is like 2 days later. This is, hours later, 4 hours later, we've come back down and we've already hit back to this level. So we're watching live right now, see if anything crazy happens while we're doing this. Okay. This is a good question. I truly Army 1 super chatted. When altcoins go, will the ones who've already hit all-time highs, will they pump again? Right? So, well, it's all theoretical. And if we're going to get an alt season, right, it's theoretical based on what has happened in the past. My thought process is, and my guess and speculation is that no. The ones that have gone on and hit big, massive bubbles and all-time highs, that they're not going to go pumping again. And that's another thing I was screaming when the price of Bitcoin was up higher, is that I didn't think those were going to do that again. So I think the things, and I'm not here to single out any coins. I'm not going to name coins, but there's stuff that's gone on big, massive bull runs. And I don't think, it doesn't mean they won't retrace, right? Retraces can always happen. And maybe some of them set new all-time highs. It's totally possible. Maybe I'm crazy and I'm still holding on hope with Ethereum Classic, right? But things that have had more prolonged and went like irrationally high, and there is stuff that went irrationally high. I don't think those are. Oh, look, we're getting a pump in Bitcoin. Here we go, catching it live. This is why we're here, right? Here we go. Hey, we'll make it look like this too. It's like so it's more impressive. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go that way. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Okay, no. All right, we're not going to play this game of the 1 minute chart, but we'll hang out here and we'll watch this thing. I'm going to regret it if it was like the 1 minute pump candle and I could have zoomed in on it while we were live. But all right, got to move on. Ajumi Splash with the super chat. Thank you so much. And Daniel T with the super chat. Can you explain the reasoning for the trend line on log scale? Trend on non-log can go deeper and double tap the low. I totally agree with you. Yes, I do. The only reason that I'm using log scale on this fib, and first of all, I hate trend lines. I hate them. They're wrong all the darn time. But the only reason we're using trend line in the first place on this, the only reason why, I'm going to take all of this off to make things just a little clearer for us. There's only one reason we're using a trend line on here at all. And it's because we know that's what happened last time in this fractal. And we have followed the fractal for 5 months. And when the trend line backtest happened on the fractal, it happened on log scale, right? So let's do this. I'm going to do exactly what you're saying because I agree with you. And I've studied that as well. If you ignore all the other stuff on the screen, guys, ignore the fractal because I'll bring it back. But if we look at it like this and you say, hey, look, this thing hit once right here. And let me shift this. You can see we hit once here, we hit once here, we hit here, we hit here, we broke out. Now here we are, right? If you go back and back test this thing on standard linear scale, that gives you that new low, right? That gives you more along the lines of doing something like this back in here. The only reason that we are doing it on log in the first place is because that is what happened last time. That's the only reason why we're using it at all. is because that's what happened last time. And as much as I want to sit here and say, it's going to break away today. Today it's going to be different. Today we're finally going to break away from it. And it just won't. It just won't break away from it. So I'm trying to stick as true to it as I can. And it was a log scale fib that held it last time. So that is why. All right, Chris12, Carp, Super Chat. When more outdoor videos and streams? Yeah, I want to get into that. Like, so I'm trying to like invest more in like expanding me on YouTube. Like, I've got a new mic. This is pretty cool. And I've got to learn a lot more about editing and or quality of mic and video stuff. The thing I don't want to do like with videos is like it's all got to be on like phones, right? So do I do it with GoPros or do it with other stuff or whatnot? And I don't know yet, but we're going there, man. I want to expand the blockchain backer content style over the years. Don't want it to be just me staring at charts all the time. This is what my passion is. This is what I like doing. But you guys know I like to post like, I'm cooking briskets. I like to be a goofball once in a while, right? I mean, we'll play It's Wednesday, my dudes. We'll have a good time. I got a silky smooth voice. It's all about having fun too, and I like to share that with you guys at the same time. So we'll see. It's just there's so much on my plate to figure out what to do for other stuff. But when more outdoor videos and streams, someday, my dude, someday. Lenosek with Super Chat. Do you think after the events of the lawsuit, it's getting right on time for the XRP pump? We'll see, man. When XRP's pump started, I don't know. It's just speculating news, right? I want to say, hey, it's going to pump right when that happens, but we don't know. We don't know when they're going to do it. So the only thing I can depend on is what has happened in the past, which is how I've always operated. I just looked at what has happened in the past and try to make my best guesses based on what has happened in the past. And XRP has pumped with the rest of the market. So I try to find the conditions in the market that are favorable to the altcoins going. And a favorable condition for altcoins going and blow off tops has been retracements after Bitcoin tops. Whether the news gets dropped at the perfect time or not, and we'll all know it, right? If it comes out right when alt season's happening, we're all just going to be like, really? Really? Okay. But, I don't know. Got to wait. The never-ending lawsuit. Ryan Doherty, why do you think silver is going down to 18-ish? It's just the structure of it. It's just my guess. It's the only reason I haven't done like massive accumulation. Like I still stack it. I don't think over the course of the last several years I've ever missed a month where I didn't stack something, whether it was gold or silver or platinum or whatever it was. Something's always been stacked. But I've had such a hard time stacking silver because of how much the premiums got pushed up due to all that Wall Street bet stuff. They ruined silver stacking. I mean, if silver eagles $33, spot is $23. It's insane. That's ludicrous. Even constitutional silver or 90% junk silver is way overpriced. That's the stuff you used to always be able to get at spot price. You can't even get that close to spot. It's $5 over spot now for constitutional circulated Washington quarters. So, it's hard for me to pay the elevated prices and then also pay the additional premiums. So if I'm going to stack it hard, I've got to see spot price. I got to see sentiment shift. If I'm going to start blasting money in silver again, I got to see people panic selling it. I got to see them say, this never worked out. We were going to squeeze it. And nothing happens. And then the spot falls and the premiums fall because not only are we paying, crazy, like, it was not too long ago, it was only $15 for an ounce of silver. Plus, if you shopped the deals pages, you'd pay less than $1 over spot for anything. Not anything, but for most things, if you shop the deal stuff, so you'd pay $16. But now, with spot being higher, in addition to all the premiums, it's just not attractive to me. It's not fun to me to pay those ridiculous premiums and know that coin shops and dealers and everybody's eating all that profit. So that's my thought. Mr. G, if a war would start, the chances for an alt season will probably be very slim, right? We've never had it happen before that I can recall. I don't know. I have no way. It's a narrative that I don't know. Or will it fly? Will it zoom? Will people be like, I can't access the bank? But Bitcoin works, right? I don't know. Strata. But thank you, Mr. G. Strata, Super Chat. Are you aware of the... Yeah. So I haven't followed it. I don't even remember what it is. We've talked about this in the XRP community for several years. And it just keeps getting delayed, right? So understanding all of the ins and outs of the ISO 20022 protocol, no, I don't understand them all, but there's people that do. People who are very smart in the XRP community. I'm pretty sure that King Solomon is very, very rehearsed on that. And Crypto Eddie is probably very, very rehearsed on that. I don't know if everybody's going to switch to the protocol at the right time and XRP is going to be utilized in all of it. I don't know. We've waited a long time on that. Scotty, with a super chat. Would you rather the Ripple versus SEC case resolve or has a settlement during an alt season or in a bear market when XRP could have its run on its own as a result? Well, it just trying to figure the right way to answer this. XRP has never taken off without an alt season. Can it happen differently? Of course it can happen differently, but it's never happened before. So I don't ever operate, and that's just my personal rules I live by on that this time is different or things can happen differently. If you were here during the bear market, we saw all the good news always coming out for Ripple and XRP and all that kind of stuff. Never impacted the price. If there's not money here, if there's not excitement here, I don't know what would happen to XRP with some really good news like that during a bear market. Historically, nothing. You would have to assume if the market's going to continue acting the way it's always acted, then likely nothing. Or if there is some short-term price push up, that it would eventually just fall right back down. But I guess during an alt season was when I would prefer it. I don't know. I don't know if it really even matters. Yeah, it's so speculative on whether or not it's going to really even matter. Or are they going to do it at the end of an alt season to create liquidity dumpage? I don't know. It's so speculative on narrative, right? It's hard. Anyway, let me just retouch on this real quick. I got to go through these things faster because now I'm dipping behind. I'm back to being 15 minutes behind again. What we're watching right now is to see... There we go. Where are we? There we go. That's where we are. If you caught this morning's video, obviously Bitcoin's been moving right on time, and it even moved on time this morning. We were talking about it. Hey, if this thing's going to continue, it's going to pop right back up to $39,000 within the next 2 to 4 hours. If it continues doing it, it did like crazy. It went right back to it, but it pulled right back down now. So it's kind of this live watch to see if this thing is going to hold. Or if we're going to be continuing the structure that we've been monitoring for nearly a year now. And that's kind of the big thing. And for me, my personal thought process is if the fractal is going to continue, this is where it's at, right? I mean, you see what has happened here today. If that thing is to continue, this is a huge pivotal moment right now. Structure, time, everything, it's there. And we've moved back down to these lows right now. And I've put a little, you can see this dotted line down here. This is just an alert triggering just in case I'm staring over here at a super chat or something while it happens. But this is what we're all watching live. The 5,953 people in here. It's unbelievable. And if you could, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You're listening to me in high definition on a Shure microphone for the first time in history. No longer on a $60 microphone. All right, I got to move on. I'm going to go through these quick, guys. Sorry, I have to catch up to live. Heather super chatted. Thanks, BCB. I live next to Shure headquarters. Awesome. There we go. See, I owned a Shure microphone 20 years ago, and that's why I went with this brand, because I owned one a super long time ago. AM super chatted. Make sure you hold on to your old mic to auction off one day. That's what legends do. Thanks as always. Well, the funny part is I actually have 2 of these headsets. I kind of lied. I said I used this one $60 headset. It's actually the second one. I used one for like 400 episodes, and then it was getting real crummy on me. And then I just bought another of the exact same one. So I have 2. I lied. But it really has. It's all been recorded on the $60 headset. Thank you, AM. Yeah, you're big dozer. Hey, BCB. New UK and EU regulation include tax loophole. All crypto transactions are 20% taxable event except for forked coins. Explains Litecoin Bitcoin setup. I don't know. Just a narrative to go along with it. But I mean, that's what it is in the United States. It's income tax. If you go spend it like a currency, that's a taxable transaction. That is not like a currency. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you go out and use the Coinbase card, right? They've got a Coinbase card, we put your crypto on it, and you go buy yourself a coffee, that little transaction that you did has to be reported. If you bought Bitcoin at $22,000 and then you went and bought yourself a coffee with some Bitcoin at $38,000, that little $5 transaction's got to be reported on your income tax statement for how much profit you made between the time that you bought and you sold. So same here. Ryan B, super chat. Sorry, one more follow up about market cap charts. Will you begin using market cap charts instead of normal price charts on your TA moving forward? Are the market cap charts king now? I don't know, man. I don't know if they are or are not. But I think if we got up there near those crazy price levels, I'd probably be pointing at them both. Just because of what we've seen happen recently, right? But yeah. Zach super chatted. Total 3 over Bitcoin plus F. That's going to end up being dominance, right? Or ratio versus Bitcoin. It should look very similar. There you go. Yeah, so this is just reversed, right? This is just very similar to the dominance. Let's get in here. Let's get all this off. So this is what we're watching. Today's the big moment, guys. So I'm trying to come in here and, sometimes we have streamers that come on when prices are skyrocketing. I got to come in here and motivate the troops during the downtime. Sorry, I don't know if that was too loud with this new mic. We'll see. All right, but we're going to try to get it. We're going to try to get through this, man. All right, over here. All right, guys, I've got to plow through these things because I'm getting way too far behind by answering stuff, so I've got to keep going. Granule Sachs with the super chat. Thank you so much. Ryan Hanna with the super chat. Friend of Bill W. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. And I follow you, dude. Janice Blease with the super chat. Thank you so much. If Bitcoin goes to 32K, can it be like in 1 to 4 hour candle just to finish the pattern and liquidate a long positions tinfoil hat? Well, it could. Yeah, for sure. It could. Tyler Ginter, super chat. Investing how all the negative fear-based median errors right now align perfectly with a local bottom to hopefully retrace from. Right, so that's what we talked about earlier. I'm going to make this really fast. At the top, when Bitcoin was 64, 65, 66,000, everybody's screaming, we're going to 100,000. Everybody's happy. There's no negative news. Everybody's euphoric. All the rumor mills of balance sheets and everything like that, right? What happens at the bottom? You got Canada. You got Russia, Ukraine. You got Federal Reserve. You got White House regulation. You got it all happening at the bottom, right? Or well, hopefully the bottom. But you didn't have all this negative news at the top. You had euphoria, hype, positive narratives at the top. You have negative, scary narratives down here. Memiak is a super chat. Thank you very much. VKTM with the super chat. Hey, BCB, can you check Twitter? I sent you a picture of XRP chart and you give your opinion. I can take a look at it. If you just post it on your Twitter and then tag me, it'll come through my notifications. My DMs get overloaded. It's hard to keep up with the DMs. Mike Freeman with the super chat. BC Backer, the man of the people. We salute you. Thank you, Mike. AF11 buy low super chat. What's Bitcoin real low? Bitfinex shows 37,200. You'd have to go through all of them. I focus on Coinbase, right? So, and Coinbase is right there, 37,200 as well. Real close. Memiak, super chat. The drawn out time period for a retrace in this fractal doesn't hold. Do you not worry about the crash in the stock market coming to invalidate this? You know, first of all, I've been very vocal that I think the stock market is very high. I believe that we are not too far away from a Great Depression style event. If you look at what has happened with the Dow Jones Industrial Average during the 1920s, the roaring 20s, the stock market ran up 500%. We've nearly run up that in the Dow Jones over the course of the last 12 years. It's actually only like 8 to 10% away from being the height of the Great Depression bubble, but it's not quite there yet. So we haven't gotten there yet. There's no question it's much higher. But the thing that I also say to myself too is, look how scared everybody is. Everybody's getting this, opportunity to get out of the indexes at the top with complete fear, right? You're getting to exit at the top. That doesn't smell right to me. Now we're seeing bubbles pop for sure. I think you've seen Facebook, Netflix, PayPal, Spotify. Bubbles are popping for sure. Doesn't mean there isn't going to be rotation, right? It just means certain aspects of the market have been overdone. But there's no question, my long-term perspective of the Dow Jones and of the stock market over the course of the next, scared to say it, 5 to 10 years is not pretty. And I worry about crypto during that time period. Absolutely. And it's all a game of hot potato, right? So that's the reality of it. It's a game of hot potato once that stock market gets going, and whether or not it has or hasn't. But I see so many negative narratives out there right now. Hard to guess. Hard to guess. But no, I stick to structures, right? And so your question is, if stock market starts crashing, I mean, anything is possible, right? All this is technical analysis and charting based on history to say how things have previously behaved before. But then what everybody does is try to say, well, this time is different. And that can typically be due to emotional states, right? Bitcoin's going to 100K. This time is different. Nothing indicated it was different, but people believed it's different. Now we're down here. Lots of negative narratives, right? So this time is different. But I try to do my best to just stick into the chart, to stay in my lane, to say this is what's happening, man. Whether or not the stock market reverses and goes straight back up, we don't know if the Fed's going to come out and say, you know what, we see that the markets are a little unstable. We're not going to do any interest rates hikes. We don't know if the Russia-Ukraine stuff's going to wrap up and be like, you know what, we're actually best friends. This was all just for fun. We don't know if Canada's going to get their act in order. And we don't know, what's the other one? If the White House is going to come out and say, everything's good. We love crypto. Crypto rocks, man. We don't know what all those things are, but we've built all the worst case scenarios in our heads of how it's all going to play out. And that's just fear. And that fear is typically after negative price action. In positive price action, we have no fear, man. We're like, it's going, baby. But after long-term price action, we get very fearful. So I don't know. All right, got to keep moving. John Costco of the Super Chat. Do you think XRP is still doing a small ABC correction from the February 8th pump? Yeah, it still looks like it is. Keshev Leckman with the Super Chat. Thank you. We've never seen long altcoin run at end of Bitcoin cycle. We've never seen long altcoin run at end of Bitcoin cycle ? So I think your question is more along the line, if this is what ends up playing out with Bitcoin, if it does go set a new low in the 30 to 33K range, and then we have something more along the list like this. This is the same structure from what happened back in 2018. The difference is when Bitcoin fell like this, it only took 5 days for Bitcoin. We're working on 83 days right now. And the retrace style took 3 times longer than the fall back in 2018. So if we do something like that, yeah, we haven't seen it from a time perspective play out like that, but structure perspective, we have seen it play out. All right, Rubiel Taborda, the Super Chat. Do you have any finance or Wall Street background. Love the way you teach, man. Keep it up. No, I don't. I've got a business degree. I did study finance, not finance, finance. When I got my degree is not majoring in finance, but I did have to study a lot of finance. And then I also have run businesses and companies, and I've had to do lots of forecasting in those positions. And those are time-based, money-based, inventory-based forecasts, and they can be really complicated and require a lot of different things to take into consideration with that forecasting. So I did do that for years prior to this. But this was like a natural thing. It was something that was it really was like a hobby, engulfed in it, passionate about it, and I just enjoy it. My favorite classes in school always were math. There's so many people say I hate math. I don't like doing math. And to me, it's like I cannot stand, writing, writing and reading and social studies. Those things drive me crazy. Science, I really enjoy it, but it's still hard. But math, natural for me. I've almost completed, in addition to that, I've almost completed a computer science degree. I went back to college again in my 30s to work on getting a computer science degree as well. And that was science and mathematics. And so I've completed all of the mathematics in addition to that for that degree. So it's just not that I've ever worked on Wall Street or for a financial firm in any way, because I'm not a financial advisor in any way. But studying math, recognizing patterns, and forecasting is something that I have just done in my careers a lot. So it's just something I enjoy doing. Venus, I got to move faster. And I keep saying that, so what am I going to do? Okay, so it's like the definition of sanity, right? I keep saying I'm going to go faster, and then what do? I answer these things and I'm not catching up at all. So I'm going to go real fast and not say that I'm going to go fast. I'm just going to do it. All right, Venus with the super chat. Thank you so much. Okay, we're asking about individual coins. A lot of coins like Stratus and Icon, which never had real bull run since 2018. I don't know. You'll have to look in to see what's going on with those coins in general. Are there people working on them? Kings SVJ James with a super chat. Solo Apes NFTs, only 100 of them on the XRP eligible by NFT Riddler is the artist. Have a look, guys. Okay. That was a ad. I don't know anything about that. But thank you. Gilbert Campos super chatted, and that he was trying to make an ad by donating. I don't know anything about that NFT project, just so you know. No clue. Gilbert Campos, super chat, new mic sounds good. Love your course. Super follow you on Twitter. Your channel is my favorite. Learned so much from you. God bless. Thank you, Gilbert. You're like the super fan, man. The super follower. That's what I mean. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Gilbert. Sant, and I'm glad it's all helped you. Sant with super chat. Thank you. Scotty0709 with super chat. Out of curiosity, would you think there's an invalidation in your analysis that would make you think Bitcoin could be heading to a new all-time high rather than the final retracement of the cycle? It would pretty much have to break through all retracement levels, and even then, it would just have to set the all-time high. Nothing would really do it for me unless it finally did it and it said it was wrong. There's no invalidation for me all the way up. Could we go all the way up to the all-time high? Sure. Do I think it's likely? No, I think it's very unlikely. Could we go up to the 786 Fibonacci retracement? Sure. Do I think it's likely? No. Can we go to the 702? Sure. Do I think it's likely? Based on history, it says it could happen. Do I think we'll go to the 618? Based on the history, this has happened many, 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 many times. This is also a bear market fractal. So until the only way to say that I would be in any way comfortable saying I'm wrong, we're not in a bear market, is if Bitcoin sets a new all-time high. There's no area in here where I would say that's an invalidation for me. And I think Bitcoin's now going to set a new all-time high. That will not happen. It will only be at the actual break of the all-time high. And then at that point, it's like, hey, hindsight, yeah, duh, it's all-time high. But no, Bitcoin scares me, seriously. Long term. Okay, gotta keep going. Brandon Toronto, super chat. Hey BCB, huge fan. Been watching for 2+ years. Thanks for all you do. Had some ideas for you regarding NFTs and expanding your brand. I can DM you with the stuff I've been working on and ideas I had for you. All right, Brandon, tag me in Twitter so I know who you are. Because I get so many DMs, I can't filter through them all. It's literally amazing how much support there is out there, but it's so many. No human could do this, and it's insane. The fact that there's 5,700 people watching this right now, and I'm not having a panic attack. I'm not quivering on the floor, freaking out. I've grown into this role, but it's very, very weird that it was 2.5 years ago. This was not a part of my life. It's grown dramatically, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful that so many people show their support and DM and messages and everything like that. And I wish it was humanly possible to reply to all of it, to make all the videos, to do all the comment approvals. And try to brainstorm to figure out how to grow the channel and do things differently and add additional new kinds of content, and then still try to be extremely socially active, maintain social activity levels at the same time. It's just so hard. It's getting to a point where it's like it's getting real hard to do it on my own. My wife has been helping me with some things, and I'm so grateful to her for the help that she does do. But it's getting real hard to do this. As a solo dude. It's been an incredible experience. Amazing. But yeah, tag me on Twitter. Lando, super chat. Let's go. Thank you. Sunt with the super chat. Thank you. We never went lower than 200 a week on Bitcoin during the bear market. What's your take? I don't focus too much on that, but I was warning of those moving averages long time ago. I think we'll go below 200 a week in the next bear market. I think it will. Burham Alley with super chat. Thank you very much. Chadwick the super chat. Good stuff. Would you be able to spot price patterns easier if we could adjust charts for inflation, or is that more of a Benjamin? I think we see what we want to see. I don't think that's necessary. PL super chat. I will make an XRP beer if we go to $10. Okay. So cool. Thank you, PL. Sunt super chatted. We never went. Oh, I already missed that. In your opinion, do you think XRP will pump or not? I do believe it. Let's pull this up. So we've talked about this many times, right? I'm just a dude who stares at a lot of charts, and this is my opinion. And it's not financial advice. That's a very common structure to happen in crypto. And we've gone through this many times. This is very normal crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Everybody's very scared down here, but we were talking about this. Hey, we've got our pop right off the lows at this point. It's got a very normal setup that typically leads to a rise. And what do we have going on with the rest of the market? We see that Bitcoin's getting ready for a retrace. But what we do know is XRP doesn't pump on its own. It just hasn't. We can all hope for the news and everything is going to do that. But we can see there's a lot of excitement with news and the lawsuit. It's lost all of that already, right? So this is where all this excitement stuff happens. We're already lower than that. So I can't depend just on like some lawsuit clear up to fix the price. I just can't. I have to focus on the conditions of the market. And do I think the conditions of the market are favorable for the altcoins to run? I do. And in those circumstances, XRP runs. So, yep. I believe so. Burham Alley. But the bigger question is, do you believe so? And that's because that's the only one who matters. You're the one who has to make all the decisions. All right. Hi, BCB. Is your XRP target around $10 still valid, or has the target changed? Thank you. Yeah, it's still exactly the same. And so even if you went based on market caps, I know somebody was asking about market caps earlier. If you just went based on market caps, it still gets you there. So yeah, I stay the same. That's what Ethereum did. It's what Bitcoin did. It's what lots of coins did. And the two big ones out there, we know historically through the cryptocurrency market, from maybe people who have just came around in 2021, they don't know. It's historically been number 1, 2, and 3. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Number 1 and 2 went to their 4.236 extensions. Why can't number 3, right? But we know it's a broader market condition that's happening right now. So will the market free itself up? But no, it's still the same. That's out there to a 4.236 extension, and that's beyond 10. But, the thing to take into note, too, it's a round number, right? $10. The thing is, like, for people who are wanting, $100,000 for Bitcoin, they needed it to go beyond Fibonacci extensions. $10 does not go beyond Fibonacci extensions. It still remains within them. All right. T-Ross with the super chat. Thank you very much. T-Ross with the super chat. Will you begin selling your XRP at 10 or sooner? It's for me, it's laddering out. So it's going to be up in that range. I don't know if I'll start at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll watch the market at the time. But by the time it would get to 13, I believe, I have to go revisit it, 65% would be gone. Okay. Maven, I can't answer that, and I'm a happily married man. XRP TRD Pro, the super chat. You the man, BCB. Another friend of Bill here. Nice. Guy Fox with the super chat. Another friend of Bill W. Clean and sober for 16 years. Right. If you say bullish on something, does that mean you are buying or excited for it? Right. I'm massively exposed to this market. I have more crypto than I thought I'd have in here. Just, I know a lot of people, they get upset if things go up and down. Their portfolio goes up and down a couple $100. It'd make you vomit if you saw what mine does sometimes. As for adding, all my accumulation style stuff has already occurred. I'm not in accumulation anymore. I'm getting really prepared for my exiting at this point. What do you, okay, Sander 10 Vilt, what do you think of ADA when Bitcoin gets to its retracement? You think the top is in? Cheers. ADA's top may be in. It might be. I don't know. So, ADA is one of those ones I was able to 65% exit based on the rally prior to capitulation back in 2018, leading to a 4.236 extension. For those who have watched many times, I will not bore you to death with that again, but ADA was one of those that did meet that criteria. And for those who were here during 2019, 20, 21, I always said, XRP was my number one holding. ADA was my number two. And then, Bitcoin was 20% of my portfolio. So do your guesses however you want, but XRP number one, ADA number two, and then Bitcoin was at 20%. And was Bitcoin even my number three or not? You don't know. But ADA went on a huge run. I hope it goes up. I still own 35%, right? I'd love to sell it for higher prices, but we'll have to see. Jeff asked with a super chat. Thank you. Chris Conroy with the super chat. Do you DCA around 4.23 fib level, or do you have one exit at? No, I ladder out on the way up. Look, I think about this every time I pull into a really big parking lot, and think of it this way too. If you're pulling up in the parking lot and you see a space, it's like the ninth one from the front of the grocery store, and you're like, man, this parking lot's packed, but I see this spot open at number 9. I really want to park here, but I really want to gamble that there's going to be something up there, number 3, 2, or 1 for me to park in. And then you go all the way up and you say, you know what, I'm going to pass on number 9. I'm going to get all the way up to number 3, 2, or 1 and see if there's a parking spot there. Then you show up and there's no parking spot there. You circle back around, you say, all right, I'm going to take number 9. But somebody else has already taken that spot, and now you have to take the 15th spot away from the grocery store door. That's the thing we do. And when we say, whenever it's like, I'm only going to sell at this one level, and I'm going to dump it all at this one level, and it's got to hit this one price for me to dump it all at this one level, is that we take the gamble on that. So I, gradually let go. I don't play that game. And, we all run the math in our head. What if I do it perfectly? But it's very, very difficult to do. Chris Tablet, on what time frame is a fractal playing out? Well, whenever I copy and paste it, I'm always putting it on. These are 4-hour candles, but you can do it at any you want, and it's also stretched to appropriately fit. So this is not of actual scale. This has been stretched, but you can just go copy it, pull it over, and do as you please. Marco Benavides super chat. I've never owned any meme coins, but I've been thinking about taking some risk with Shiba. Do you think it could repeat what it's done in the past if alt season takes off? Thanks. I don't know. I don't know on those meme coins, man. So like when SHIB took off last time, right? It was riding down the coattails of what Doge did, right? And if you remember, Coinbase listed SHIB, and then Coinbase was actively marketing SHIB hardcore before it took off, like constantly advertising it on Twitter and everywhere. Buy SHIB, buy SHIB. And the price was like in the gutter, man. It was in the gutter. It was like, man, they're really marketing this coin. Buy SHIB here, buy SHIB here. And then boom, it skyrocketed, right? I don't know. And I don't follow SHIB on whether it's actually going to be used for anything. It's a new coin. It came out of nowhere. And it's right on the coattails of meme stuff, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't own any SHIB. VKTM with the super chat. I tagged you on Twitter. Thank you for your time. All right, gotcha. I'll keep an eye on it today. AF11 below with the super chat. Can you quickly go over your possible scenarios based on today's Bitcoin closing candle below or above 3,500? Right. So what we're all watching happening here, and we're all getting to experience my new microphone together, is that if you caught today's video, I'm repeating for the people who have been around for a long time, but I know there's a lot of new people tuning in right now. You got today's video. We followed the fractal. It's pulled all the way back down. It's on time. It's the most ludicrous thing ever for it to constantly be on time. And now I've messed with this fractal because I stretched it from talking. Let me get it back. Hold on, guys. Sorry. So you can see how I do this, right? So there you go. I pulled it too far. So essentially I try to line it up with here where this really all kind of started at. So we get this kind of happening here and here. This is kind of my point. And then I'm lining it up with what happened back in here. There we go. There you have it. So we've been following time, right? We're dipping at all the same times that we've dipped previously. And the thing we're all watching for is if we're going to come back and get the trend line back test. We came back, we got the trend line back test, just as suspected. And then if you caught the video this morning, we're talking about, hey, look, if it's going to follow what this thing has done historically and what it did last time, since it's followed it for 5.5 months, is that, hey, look, in the next 2 to 4 hours, see if this thing pops back up to 39,000. Sure enough, it did. Now we popped back down to the lows again. That's a little bit different, right? But again, things can happen a little bit different. But, you know, the trend line, right? I think that's going to be the big thing to say. This thing has deviated and is doing something different if we notice of this, right? So, I mean, it's all identical stuff. If we start breaking lower, and I would think, you know, if the price closes the day below 36,000 or something, takes out trend, takes out this low, those things will be a little bit different. And then maybe it's time to start scratching that and say, it looks like the long and grueling retrace is the thing that's in the cards. But until then, right now, we're kind of watching this live right now and see if anything chaotic is going to happen or if we're just going to stay here and hold it. All right. Tyler Ginter, has Bitcoin hit an all-time high this cycle or forever? I think it's hit it for this cycle. That's my opinion. And we've gone through this with the stock market. If the stock market ends up, that's such a long-ended question. Bitcoin has been tied to the stock market. There's just no debating it. Over the course of time, Bitcoin is tied to the stock market, and Bitcoin was created during the depths of the great financial crisis. If the actual indexes, like the Dow Jones, which is the one that it's really been tied to, if the Dow Jones pops and goes into a real bear market, we don't know what Bitcoin's long-term trajectory is because it's only been in existence during a bull run. It's not like it was created in 2007 and went through the great financial crisis. No, it was created in the depths of the great financial crisis when the bounce off the bottom already began. So it's only been around in a bull run. So if the Dow Jones goes into some like 20-year bear market, which it's run up similar to the 1920s before the Great Depression, if the Dow Jones goes into some big, massive long-term bear market, there's no way to know if Bitcoin's going to break out into a new all-time high beyond that in the long term. A lot of people will disagree with that. That's fine. I'm just presenting the case that we don't know. We can speculate that it will, but we don't know. Everything's a speculation, but we do know is that Bitcoin's only been around during a bull market, and it got created during the depths of the great financial crisis. So, also, I have an alert here that's going to go off if I miss it somehow, if I'm over here chatting. So watch your ears if you hear ding. Actually, no, I have the desktop audio off. And we're also experiencing the new microphone. All right, guys. Josh Cranton, thank you, BCB. Love your material, your guidance. Enjoyed your course. All the super tweets compared to 2017-19 bull run. Are we past the possibility of leaders and laggards in this alt season? Assuming that we follow this fractal. I think some leaders have already gone. I think there have already been leaders in this market. Anything that's going on, the big massive explosions, I think those leaders are done. I do not own full positions in anything that has gone on massive, huge runs. So that includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, or any of the other ones that have gone on to break into new, big, massive all-time highs. I'm very much in the stuff that is still low behind, because I try to position myself to get the massive rises. I'm not the type of person to buy Bitcoin at 60K to get it to 100K and like hope I can make, after it's already risen 2,000%, I'm going to try to make 70% and be part of a movement. It's not what I do. I get in when nobody wants to get into anything. I sit around, wait, twiddle my thumbs, and then ride off. So I think there have been leaders. Fingers crossed, the laggards get their shot to go. JO89K with a super chat. Oh man, thank you, BCB. You awesome man. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Joe89K. Real Raw, the super chat. Thank you, Spencer Gulliman with the super chat. Back to the Coinbase card. If you buy USDC and spend USDC on purchases, is that considered a taxable income? USDC is stable, so it shouldn't. Thank you for being the man of the people as well. First of all, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not investment advice. I'm also not a tax advisor or an accountant or providing accounting advice. So you should consult with professionals in those fields before doing any of that. But to my understanding, as not being a licensed advisor of any kind, crypto is crypto. Whether there's gain or no gain, the reported gain, I believe. Or you say there was just no gain. Hey, BCB. Oh, wait. Liam Carroll. Hey, BCB. If we see a 10K Bitcoin in the bear market, would you predict top to be in next cycle? Would you predict top to be in next cycle? I'm not sure what your question is, but, as time goes, man, we'll keep an eye on the market and figure out what seems possible out there. Yeah. Hadoken AM super chat. Hey BCB, just saying hi and thanks for your work. Well, hi, thank you. Steve S super chatted. Appreciate you a lot, bud. If Bitcoin goes to 25K now, Fed gets inflation under control, we head higher to Q1 2023, makes a new all-time high, then alt season. Would you consider that the end of the cycle or a new cycle? I'm sure that's how that ends. A new cycle. That would probably be the end of the cycle. But yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Caleb King with a super chat. Could you elaborate your faith a little bit? I'm a Christian and I grew up as such. I would love to hear your testimony. Well, okay. First of all, yes, I am Christian. I do believe in God. I've gone through a lot of hardships in my life, but I'm not here to convince everybody because everybody has their own thing, and I'm never trying to push politics or religion on anybody. But I've gone through a lot of my own personal life experiences. I've been through a lot of ups. I've been through a lot of downs. I've been through the deepest of downs that you could imagine. And that is nothing special. Everybody has been through things like that. But that was something that really helped me get through that moment. And I do recognize and appreciate the things that I have in my life. And I don't know if I'd have those things without faith. But that's really as far as I'm going to go with it. But yeah, I'm a man of God. So Christopher, super chat. You need to set up a PO box so we can send you gifts for everything you have done for us. You know what the thing is? It's real funny. Is I did set up a PO box and I had it for like a year, but I like never told you guys about it, and then I closed my PO box. I was like, I felt weird. It's like setting up the merchandise store. Everybody's like, "Hey, put up a merchandise," and I don't do it, right? Because I'm like kind of weird about it. I'm like, am I being egotistical asking people to give me money so they can wear my brand logo on them, right? It's kind of like me overthinking it, but people want it, right? And the same thing is like, hey, if I like give people a PO box to like send me things, am I being like, you know, you know what I mean? You gotta, you know what I mean? I'm sure people get that. I don't know. So I never ended up telling anybody about it, and I ended up closing the PO box maybe like a month and a half ago. So no, man, I'm not gonna do it because I did it and then I undid it. And then TXMC from Alpha Beta Soup, I saw you in there. It said new mic sounds like butter. Yep. Thank you so much. But all right. All right. Ox Skyway, the super chat. And Bobby Amos, thank you for the super chat. Ox Skyway, the super chat. What XRP low do you expect in the next Bitcoin low? It just depends on how high XRP gets. And, until we see it all drawn out, that's really kind of where I'm at. But, you would expect if it goes blasting off to like $13 or something like that, what would the logical thing to expect would be at least a back test of the 2018 all-time high. You would at least expect it to pull back down to $3, $3.30. It's not unrealistic. XRP lost like 96% during its last bear market. It was awful. Okay, here we go. Daniel, are you going to exit the market on Bitcoin retrace regardless of alt season? If not alt season, you exit anyway. Right. So my rules have always been that once I think the top of Bitcoins come in, especially hitting a 4.236 extension, for the things that I own that have not taken off, the only thing I can do is, without trying to believe this time is different, I have to operate under, how this market has operated before. If Bitcoin goes back into a retracement and the altcoins are exploding out into new all-time highs, well, then something different is happening in the market. And I'm going to, for my personal portfolio, saying I'll be investing based on something I've never seen before, and I have to just kind of leave it up to chance, which I can't do. My rule has always been, goes back into the retracement. If some things haven't taken off at that time, that's where I've got to start cutting stuff. So regardless of what's going on, if Bitcoin goes back into the retracement, that's where I start cutting. But again, it's not like I cut my whole portfolio. I've been in this market, and I showed it earlier this week when the total 3 was equivalent to $28 billion, and Cardano being at $34 billion now, maybe not today, but when we did the video last week, this market's grown substantially. And it's just going to be time for me to cut some out of the market, whether the altcoin market has taken off or not taken off into Bitcoin's retracement. But I'm hopeful that it will. I try to be as sincere with what I see going on in here as possible, and I try to eliminate all of it of being like, I'm going based off double X, triple inflation, RSI, super bands, and whenever this happens to these super bands of loop-de-loops, this is what happens in the market. No, I try to simplify everything I do on here and just show it to you of how the market has behaved before. It's up to everybody to decide, does that information even matter at all? But I try not to overcomplicate it. I try to make it as simple, because that's what I actually think matters. I don't think all that complicated stuff means diddly squat. Otherwise, 99% of people would have sold the top of Bitcoin, but all the super duper crazy indicator people were not able to do it. So yeah, I keep it simple. Go into the retrace. I got to cut some off the table. Been here a long time. Some of it's got to get taken off. And that's a rule that I established a long time ago. And then next question, Sant, what if altcoins don't moon while Bitcoin retraces? Will you remain bullish on Bitcoin? No. Pi Kai super chatted. BCB, did you hear about? I don't know what that is, so I don't want to say it because I don't want people to go download that. I don't know if that's good or bad. But thank you for the super chat. Joshua Wolf. Wolfle? What do you think the top 3 coins would be in 10 to 20 years in order? Thanks, BCB. We'd have no idea. I have no clue what the top 3 will be in 10 to 20 years. And the reality is, most of this market we didn't know what it would be 4 years ago. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum, pretty obvious. If you assume that stays that way, then, who's number 3? Hopefully XRP is the one to retain its rightful place. Hey, BCB, can you come by our XRPL3D Apes Twitter space tomorrow? Scroll wheel. We have a special guest, Rose XRP. We all love your work and support what you do for the XRP community. We extend you. All right, first, so here's my deal. I'm not too rehearsed in NFTs. Talked about it the other day. I'm kind of like just starting to get into it. But what I do realize about NFTs, and it's very easy to make 10,000 of these things with the cartoon look, and to change out the accessories. You just create it in Photoshop. You create different hats. You create different T-shirts. You create different, earrings, everything, backgrounds, and then you run it through Premiere or whatever it is to have and get the code from GitHub, and you can make it print out 10,000 of these things, and then you can create them. And then obviously, the moment I even bring up NFTs on it, 30 or 40 different projects come on there wanting me to promote them. So everybody's wanting me to promote their NFTs that they're trying to sell. And I know it's very easy to make these. I get it. Some of them are going to be harder. Some people put more work into them than others. But I'm naive. I'm uneducated. And I have to recognize that there is also that aspect in this market of all these people who are living in their grandma's basement creating these NFTs and presenting them as something that they're not. Now, XRPL3D Apes, not accusing that. I believe you guys were in the Ripple thing, right? I mean, you guys made a blockchain backer one, right? So it's not like y'all are doing that. But I have to be real careful before I even consider stepping foot into the NFT space, because I do care about people not getting wrecked. They're just doing. I don't want it to do something naive. So we'll see. All right, Scotty, the super chat. Thank you so much. Do you get involved with passive income staking? No, I do not do any staking. I do staking. Sorry, I do not do nodes. I did nodes in 2018. Every single one of them went to 0. That's my belief on all of them. And the thing that people do is you build it up, so you buy a new node, you build it up, you buy a new node, you build it up, you buy a new node, but you never end up taking any of the profit and keeping it in your pocket because you're chasing the dragon of trying to get how much you used to get. So you keep creating new nodes to try to make it be more, but the price keeps going down. You never get what you were originally getting, and it just becomes a point. You just got to start taking the money out. Just start taking it. Stop building new nodes. Just take it. That's what I learned, and then all of them went to 0. Because everybody's creating all the new nodes, everybody's creating all the new things, and it's an exponential supply increase. But I do staking. Super chat, Jay, for the super chat. Thank you so much. All right, guys, so I missed it. Jay with the super chat. Tweeted about you, gifting you one of the crypto shirts that I made. Keep a lookout for that. Okay, Jay. All of Jay's in Super XRP. Let's go. Tom Seamer with the super chat. I hope you take at least 6 months of vacation once XRP moons. Thanks for all you do. I've learned a lot over the years. Yeah, so I think once that time comes, if we go into the retrace, it'll probably be a little bit of taking a little bit of a break. Not because I'm sick of doing this. I love doing this, but restructuring what we're doing on here. King SVJ James is a super chat. Big thank you for your work. You are the man. XRP the moon. Have a look up again. There we go. Again, another advertisement. See, I don't know about these NFT stuffs, man. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But thank you. Caleb with the super chat. BCB, you're wrong. You need to adjust for inflation. Okay. No, I don't agree. If that creates an additional moon case, that's just because people are trying to make some type of different moon case. I don't agree with it. Go Broadly. You mentioned GE stock and Ford stock. What are your fib extensions for those stocks? Well, those would have to pretty much do what GameStop did, right? So when I got when I keep my money in the stocks, I don't have a lot. Stock market's less than 1% of my wealth. Even my kids' college funds are mostly money markets, and they've been pulled from the stock market because I don't trust it. I don't trust the indexes that they have. From a percentage standpoint, I don't think there's just anything left really in the stock market. Like we're talking about with the Dow Jones, 8% to the upside. Okay. But if we're going to see some type of huge rotational play where you see like big tech pop and there's a rotation, that leaves the opportunity for things like you saw with AMC and GameStop to happen. And with hopefully, if my fingers crossed and my bets are placed on Ford and GE. But I don't know. I can't pull those up right now. But anyway, I mean, you could just run them. Just run them based off of their previous tops. XRPMD with the super chat. BCB, have you ever looked at XRP rich lists to see where you are relative to other hodlers? Do you ever use it to make any price predictions? Anyway, I know that's even taken offline now. Thanks for all you do. Okay, so that rich list thing's been around for a long time. It's been around since we were in the bear market. I don't find any relevant information that comes from that. I don't find anything of value that comes from that list. And I've spent time looking at it. And I've watched it change over the years. I just don't find any value that comes from it. I don't know. I think people try to point to it when you can see, like, the bigger wallets moving in the upward direction while all the littler wallets are moving in the down direction. But otherwise, there's just not really much to take from that. And I know a lot of people point to that as it is something, but I don't see how it provides any relevant information. And then again, people can split their things into a bunch of different wallets, so we'd have no idea. All right, moving on. I need a sip of coffee. Could you hear my hard swallow from across the room with this new mic? All right, Alejandro, imagine the Puppet Master face when he finds your videos next year. So think about how weird it is to be in my position and what it was like in November and December and all the crazy narratives and all the content creators and all the everything. Imagine like me watching it and seeing the words come out of all these people's mouths, and I'm over here thinking, this is not real. The Puppet Masters are not doing this, man. None of this is real. How is everybody wrong? That was crazy. Yeah. I don't know. It's scary, right? Is the black van going to show up or the SUV going to show up with the sunglasses, dudes? I hope not. All right. Headcase, the super chat. Are you looking into any of the Cronus dApps? I don't even know what that is. Luke Beaumont, but thanks for the super chat. Luke Beaumont, what do you think will be the low bottom for Bitcoin in the bear market? It's going to make people mad, man. It's just going to make people mad. I think at the minimum, 13,500. If it continues following this fractal, it's like 8,000. If it does what these structures typically do, it's 2,000. And I think it's possible. I think it's totally possible Bitcoin could go to $2,000. Right now, nobody believes that's humanly possible. Nobody believes it. I understand that. But this setup for Bitcoin could go as low as $2,000. It really could. We talk a lot about I'll hide everything. Crash, retrace, reaccumulation, breakout to full extension. Typically, where you're going to come down to is down in here. After this. This is what Ethereum did. This is what Neo did. 2018, for this precise structure, you head all the way back down here and hang out in here. And where is this? This is from 1,700 to 2,800. And it takes out that low. The low from the bottom of 2018. I think it's possible. Don't kill the messenger. All right. All right, Taylor Brown, how do you feel about the XRP memos that just came out? You know, it's good. I mean, you can see that Ripple was, seeking counsel, and they got counsel from the exact same people that helped, write the Ethereum free pass. So that's going to be real interesting to see what the judge has to say about that. I have no, I've watched Jeremy's videos covering this stuff, and I'm just not in the position to know if it's, that great or not that great, but it looks good to me. I mean, it looks like they were, seeing it, but the reality is, we just want XRP relisted, man. Does that move the needle any closer? That's all I think about. All right, we got Bitcoin a little bit on the move over here. What are the start end dates for the 2018 fractal? Bullish divergence on the 4-hour, shorts dropping out and longs rocketing up. Looks like this fractal will play out. Thanks for all you do. Just go back to 2018. You'll spot it in there. It's going to be like mid-year. It's going to be like throughout the summer. Which in the United States, that's from, May, June, July, August, September. Tim with the super chat. Thank you so much, Tim, for the non-financial advice. Doran Ionet, super chat. Even BCB, I was wondering if you sell 68% of XRP, at what price you will buy it again. Thanks. Right. So that's the hard one I have, man. I'm not so convinced that I would let go of my XRP. I love my XRP. Out of all the assets that I own and the ones that I have conviction with, right? Like when I just think of crypto in general, if any of them have to succeed, it's XRP. It's just, there's just no way. I don't know. It has to be the one. And not that it has to be the one. Like, people always say it's the one, the standard. But, if XRP can't succeed, nothing can succeed. So we'll see on that one. David Mahani, super chat. Hi, BCB. What is your thought on Matic? Thanks for all your hard work. I don't follow Matic. I remember when Matic came out. That was like when Binance was starting their whole, what was it that they were starting? You could like practically buy ICOs. I think that's what it was. They were doing their own ICO thing on Binance, and Matic was one of the very first ones you could do. So I don't know. I don't follow it. I just remember it being an ICO on Binance in 2018. But sorry, I don't follow it. Alba XRP super chatted. Hey, Backer, can you give my best mate, J-Boy, and my two sons, Tom and Sam, a what's going on? Love your work, mate. Hey, what's going on? There's 3 different names in there, right? J-Boy, Tom, and Sam. Thank you, guys. Steve S. super chatted. You've been great through all of this. Thanks for everything, bud. Hey, look at Bitcoin. It looks like we're surviving that moment, right? So when I came onto this live stream, it was kind of a crazy thing right here that Bitcoin had pulled back. If you caught the live stream, or not the live stream, the video that was done earlier this morning, it was that, if we followed what was going on in here, it showed that, if it's going to keep following within the next 2 to 4 hours, it would shoot right back up to $39,000. Sure enough, it shot right back up to $39,000 as I was exporting and uploading the video. But then, crazy as it was, price fired right back down, right? But it looks like we're still holding at this level. So even when this live stream ends, watching for trend to hold. And again, I'm not a big trend line person, but watching for that trend to hold down there at 37.2 or so, or, and as you move on, trends still continue to go. They still trend down, right? So the trend isn't broken. But, seeing if this holds, if it does get a significant break or something like that to start, I'm going to start anticipating we're doing, the thing that we've monitored for nearly a year, and that absolutely nothing has changed. And it's still just following what it's been doing for a year long. But so far, so good. This scenario has a lot of people excited. It has me excited too. Because, what we've seen happen with Bitcoin is into a retracement after a top comes in. It's all set up for a nice little 702 Fibonacci retracement. We know in 2018, that was the alt season. That's what we're all cheering for. This fractal shows it's not too far away that we get all of the answers that we're looking for. I think everybody's happy for that. Whereas this one really draws it out, and I don't think a lot of people really want that. So I'm right there with you guys. I'm cheering for it too. I'm hoping that it does hold. But thank you, Steve. And German Maston, thank you for the super chat. I don't know what that app is. I can't promote that stuff, man. Pat K is super chat. Bloody legend. That's all. Thank you. And Vanksta super chatted. Thank you very much. And then Vanksta again. Love you, BCA. Your TA is amazing. I really want to know your thoughts on lengthening cycle theory and the possibility of another all-time high. I don't believe in it. That's it. That's it. I do not. I don't entertain it. This is a bear market, right? Bitcoin, like, this is a bear market. It's no debating it. This hit a 4.236 market cap, 4% away from after rising 2,000%, 4% away from a 4.236 extension on the price chart, and doing a normal bear market structure for 5.5 months. So there's nothing bullish about Bitcoin for new all-time highs. Looking for retracements, but even all of this points to an $8,000 Bitcoin price. No bull market for Bitcoin. Very bearish. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I was the bull man all through 2019 and 2020, and and that was the hard times. That's when we were going through the C19 stuff. Bitcoin's down there, was it $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, $6,000? Those were the hard times. That's where you come on here and you say, hey, we're going to 70K, and people call you an irrational lunatic and think you're irresponsible and a terrible human being. And then you come up here and you tell them, look, this is the reality of it. And a lot of new TA comes up, and that comes out of nowhere at the top to say we're going much higher. But the thing is, back in 2019, 2020, 2020, the big question was, why would anybody in their right mind buy Bitcoin at $60,000? Why would they? Bitcoin's $4,000 right now. Why would anybody in their right mind buy Bitcoin at 60K? And it's because somebody's going to tell them it's going to go higher. Somebody's going to be telling them it's going higher. And that's what happened. No. Do not believe in lengthening cycles for Bitcoin. But thank you. Lando, the super chat. Why does it seem like the old alts have performed so bad past year? Ethereum Classic had a big run. Do you see those going up? Well, that's how I'm playing my cards. So what you see happen with new coins, right? And so it's not all the old coins. You look at 90% of what was in the top 100 in early 2021. It's a market condition. So what you see speculative runs happening in new altcoins, right? Some people get into something new, they present it, they run a marketing campaign, and believe me, these things will lose 99% of their value in the bear market. We've seen it happen to literally almost everything. Even I don't know what the percentage was on Ethereum. We can pull it up, but it was over 90% loss during the bear market. And the speculative new coins that come out and get ridden up with marketing campaigns, those certainly lose 99% of their value. But as for the older coins, the more established ones, well, we'll have to wait and see, man. That's where I've got a lot of myself positioned. And isn't Bitcoin an altcoin? And isn't Ethereum an altcoin? And isn't Cardano an altcoin? But they all ran. And Ethereum Classic too, which is one of the ones I asked about. Nemicon super chatted. Thank you very much. AF11 below super chatted. I know you don't ask about specific coins, but any take on this coin I've never heard of? If not, I'm still naming my kid after you. Yeah, I've never heard of it. But thank you. Genos, I would love to meet a kid actually named Blockchain Backer to see the birth certificate. Don't any of you do that. Not one of you. Seriously, your wives will kill you. All right. And that is advice. Don't do it. All right, Geno's super chatted. Oi, oi, oi from Australia. I love your work. Oh, thank you so much. Nixter XRP super chatted. Shout out to Mrs. BC Backer. Thank her for us. We are thankful she shares with us. You think she could teach my wife how to not be selfish? Oh boy, I hope your wife isn't listening to this. I believe my wife is in the chat with you guys right now. Participation trophy wife. Yeah, I love her. She's fantastic. She's been there through everything. Crypto Mags, the super chat. Do you see XRP doing its own thing while crypto goes through a bear market? No. If it does, that's great, but I can't base anything off that. I have to go based on how it's behaved before, and it's behaved of moving with the market. So that's what my fingers are crossed for, and that's why I focus so much on the entire market. Mozzie AZ super chatted. Thank you for everything, BCB. I've learned so much from your channel. What are your thoughts on Luna and the whole Terra network in general? I don't follow it that closely. There's so many coins. I just can't follow everything. And the reality of it too is, like, I know a lot of people ask about metaverse. They ask about NFTs. They ask about specific projects, what I think of specific projects. And the thing is that 99% of my time is spent looking at this stuff. This is where all of my effort goes into, all of my energy goes into looking at charts and studying in charts. And there's people out there who are like super pros on knowing everything about every altcoin. They're super pros on knowing about the ins and outs of NFTs and how they're going to be this next big thing. And it goes beyond just art, and it goes, to property and all these different kinds of assets and stuff. And they're the experts in that stuff. And in like the thing that I spend so much of my time in here, living and breathing in here. To just ask a question. And then there's thousands of coins. There's hundreds of coins that are relevant to know everything about them. It's just not humanly possible for me. And my wheelhouse is living in here. So. All right, Tyrone. The super chat. Did you see the house that sold as an NFT? Are you going to do more videos on NFTs and their use case other than JPEGs? Thanks, brother. Yeah, so I'm just diving in, man. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all of it. And yeah, it's way more than JPEGs, right? JPEGs, it's almost a meme of it being JPEGs as NFTs, and it expands further beyond that. And yeah, over time. But this is the focus of my channel, right? It's the charts, right? That's just kind of the what does Crypto Eddie call it? The fluff at the end that she has, right? If I expand into learn some new stuff, I just add it as a fluff at the end of my videos, right? But I know why people tune in here, and it's because I love this stuff, right? And I'm sharing about this, I'm studying this, and diving in this. They're here for this. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to stop looking at NFTs. I'll look more into it. But I know it goes way beyond JPEGs. But all right. That people can see I'm catching up, so they're like, no. Crypto Man X super dreaded. Let me interview you sometime. All right, not DM me because I won't see it. Tag me on Twitter. I'll think about it. I got a lot going on. We'll see. I can't believe I'm doing interviews right now. It's kind of crazy. And that's what I said earlier in the stream, is that I won't be doing a video tomorrow, you guys. If something crazy happens, I'll do my best. I'll make a video, or at least be available over there on Twitter. But I'm interviewing with Thinking Crypto, Tony from Thinking Crypto tomorrow. So that's kind of where my attention is at. And before I do those interviews, I kind of like try to prepare and stuff like that. Kind of like I prepare for my videos before I do them. Prepare for an interview to try to do my best when I go out there and make you guys proud. So there won't be a video tomorrow unless there's something crazy that happens and I can whip together a video in 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. Which no matter what, it takes more than 5 or 10 minutes, but. All right. Spitefall, super chat. What do you think of L2's? I don't know. I think L2 and Air for 2020 Dino Thesis compare metastatic. Okay, that's over my head, bro. I don't know. But thank you for the super chat. Odds is super chatted. 401k, your opinion. How much percent should I relocate short-term, long-term bonds, cash, stable income fund? Also, you sound like Butthead from BNB. I do. Hey, I'm glad you noticed that, man, because I do try to throw that on once in a while to see if anybody catches it. You've got it, dude. If you haven't noticed, I've also on Twitter occasionally posted some of the cells that I have from cartoons from back in the 90s, and I have a bunch of Beavis and Butthead cells. Um, cool. And I I throw that on every once in a while. Try to throw on a Hank Hill every once in a while too, but not as often as Butthead. But I've never said that before, but you're the first one to catch it. All right, Mike R. Super Chat. Hi, BC. Thanks for all your work you do. Do you know about the Casper protocol and feel it? I don't know. I'm sorry. But thank you, Mike. Jay asked Super Chatted. Thank you very much, Jay. Trades from the crypt to the Super Chat. I lost money in November. I feel really bad. Can you still tell us about your experience with loss? Yeah, I've toughed it out. And it's hard sometimes. It's really hard. It never feels good. Everybody, and everybody comes into this market with essentially the exact same story. And nobody came into this market for the first time in the depths of C19. You didn't. So people are saying you're lucky, right? You're lucky that you were here during that time period that happened. But no, we had to ride through a bunch of horror to do that. But nobody freshly comes into the market during this time. When do people come into a market? They come in when they're being marketed the market. So, in the end, that's also what happened in 2017. It's just a rough ride of getting through it. We come in hoping we're going to get these instant rewards right away after buying a market that's already risen 2,000%. And sometimes we just have to tough it out. I'm falling behind again. All right. Confirm, because you guys are flying. You guys are recognizing them catching up to it. Confirm it, RM Super Chat. Do you do the staking in Drip at all? I don't know what that is. But thank you, confirmation. Eugene Cropping with the Super Chat. Thanks for everything you do. Do you think Neo will have its run? What's your target? Yeah, so I own some Neo. I don't know, but I hope so. But all measurements, I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember if it's 300 or 400. I think it might be 3. It's my 65. That's based on a 4.236 extension based on the rally prior to capitulation back in 2018, which is the same strategy I use on all of them. But I sure hope so. I've been staking gas for a while. I still have all of it. Christopher Super Chat. Hey, BCB, can you say, hey, Bit Gang, what's going on? There you go, buddy. AM Super Chatted. Oh, thank you. Do you think ADA will go up with other alts to its previous all-time high? Well, it's already bypassed its 2018 all-time high. I sure hope so. ADA is not looking pretty, man. I have already 65% exited. I was hoping I'd get to exit some more than that. But it'll be interesting to watch, when Bitcoin goes back into a retrace. Is ADA going to break out into an all-time high during that time? And so that's really kind of the thing I'm waiting on. When Bitcoin goes back into a retrace, man, it's pretty much just going to tell the story for everything. That's the way I think about it. Tells the story for all of them. Matthew Bodo super chatted. Love the content. I watch every day. What's your take on Zcash? Do you see it doing much at all? Keep up the great content. Right. So I talked about this in the last live stream. And even Barry Silbert posted this over on Twitter the other day, if you didn't catch it. Barry Silbert advises that everybody has at least 5% of their crypto net worth in privacy coins, right? Now, I'm never going to say anything like that on my channel. I'm never going to advise you how much to buy, how much to sell, how much to own, or anything like that. But I'll always tell you what I'm 20% in privacy coins, right? So I'm a big believer in it because you see all this stuff going on in Canada and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's this big, great use case for Bitcoin. No, it's still telling you the same thing. It's telling you that people want their money to be private. They're making all this big hoopla about Bitcoin. If you're privately storing your own keys, they can't do anything to stop any of that, but they're going to track it. They're going to see KYC. They're going to see what wallet sent it where did that Bitcoin originate from that wallet? And did you send it to your wallet from a KYC exchange? Your name still can get found. And I'm not promoting doing anything to interfering with any type of, international stuff, right? it's everything I see on Twitter. It's very difficult over there in in Canada, and I feel rough for the people in Canada from what I see and what I have. But I'm not going to like politically jump on either side. But I understand where everybody is coming from on both sides. But you know, Zcash, gosh, man, like I'm foaming at the lips to like, don't go blast your whole wallet buying it. But yeah, I still believe it because I believe in privacy coins almost to the same level that I believe I have XRP, right? Um, that if crypto makes any type of sense as a currency that we use in anything, that the privacy coins make the absolute most sense to me. So yeah, I'm definitely still there in Zcash, loud and proud. Jay asks, could you tell us your thoughts on BCH 10K? Well, that's the measurements. What will really happen? I'm waiting for a retrace to find out. So we'll see. Rusty Wolf has super chatted. Thank you very much. Tom Smith with super chat. BCB, if XRP does hit your $10 to $13 targets, what price do you see it going back to in a multi-year bear market? Keep up the good work. Well, you'd have to assume, I would have to assume, it would go back to the all-time high, which is about $3, or is it going to do what it's done in each of the previous bear markets where it loses 94 to 97%? I don't know. Have to wait and see. Have to wait and see. Crypto Trips to the super chat. Do you have a price for Bitcoin that would invalidate a new low? Thanks for all you do. Invalidate a new low. A price for Bitcoin that would invalidate a new low, like to where I don't think it will dip any lower than this. Well, like if we took out this, and I don't know if that's how your question is, but this way I'm interpreting it, would invalidate a new low to mean that I think the wording on that's a little off. But if I don't think a new low is going to come in currently, we would have to take out all the way up here. We'd have to take out 45,800 for me to feel completely comfortable that we're not going to set another low right now and that we can begin a retrace. Otherwise, I'm still going to be sitting here kind of sketchy because you can see what happens in here, right? You see what occurred back in here. As long as it's just hanging out in here, doesn't mean it's not still doing it. You know what I mean? But, you know, if the price moved back down here, which would be, you know, move like that, I'd be like this, and then that would make me say, it doesn't look like it's going to go any lower right now, but long term, it would still go. Or if you're asking me, is there anything that would make me invalidate that a new low won't happen? I guess you'd have to set a new all-time high. And by that point, I'll just be wrong when it sets a new all-time high, but I'm going to stay very strong with that thought until it does. I do not think it'll happen. This is a bear market for Bitcoin. This is full-blown bear market. Hey, BCB, what do you think the price of XRP will be if Bitcoin falls to 30 to 33K in the next week or so? I don't know. You know, what I would hope for would be that our lows still just continue to hold, or at least our lows from back in here, right? So that we still just remain with the structure that we've had. You have a crash, retrace, reaccumulation occurring over here on XRP. So if something crazy happens, that we still maintain these lows down in here. It would still be normal. While painful and uncomfortable, and you know, everything will still be okay. Once we start taking out these lows, it starts getting kind of sketchy for me. As long as we don't take them out, all good. All right. So Yasir will XRP do an ABC even if Bitcoin retraces from here? And how about an interview on an Indian channel? At least hey, what's going on, Yasir? And I might be saying that wrong. I apologize. Yasar. Yeah, just hit me up on Twitter. Ltrain88K with the super chat. Thank you. David Schrill with the super chat. What do you think, according to the charts, that XRP has hit its high for this bull run? What percentage of your total XRP will you sell? 65%. If we're breaking out, we're in an all-time high, and Bitcoin's going back into a retracement. It's just going to match all the same conditions of what happened in 2018. I can't gamble on anything different happening. I have to base everything I do based on what I've seen in the past. It's how I've operated this whole way. Me expecting Bitcoin to, during the horrors of C19 and the price being $6,000, me saying, I'm looking for 70K was not me just pulling numbers out of my behind or my backside. It was based on what we've seen happen in the market before. Me expecting the top of Bitcoin to come in was based on what we've seen happen before. And if XRP is running and we got to do this, I've got to just operate based on what we've seen happen before. Would I hope that I'm wrong? Would I hope XRP just keeps flying up much higher? For sure. But it's just not how I play my cards. So I would just have to. If we're in all-time highs and Bitcoin's getting up in here, I got to let go of 65%. It's just a rule. But I'll be cheering. I'll be cheering for all the riddlers who have said we're going to $10,000. But 35% of my bag would thoroughly enjoy that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up and figure out where I am. All right, here we go. This is from Ben Tong. Thanks for the amazing content. Can you share one of your favorite experiences in getting involved with crypto and the channel? Man, that's such a good question. The whole experience has been crazy. The whole experience, lots of ups and lots of downs, but overall incredible. The support of people that just genuinely care about you is kind of like pretty crazy. It's amazing. And, there's not many experiences in life where you get to see so many people who just like genuinely care about you. That's pretty amazing just in general. It's hard to single it and say, hey, there was this particular day where this awesome thing happened. It's more of just the experience of it all. The unpleasant things are easy to focus on. You got lots of trolls, but that just comes with the gig. And you got to learn to shake it off. Sometimes it's harder some days than others, or sometimes it gets tiring because it goes on for a very long time. But the overall support from people, and more I say that, it sounds cheesy. It's like a canned response. You'd expect that of someone, but that's really what it was. And really one of the things happened the other day when I went on bcbacker.crypto, right? And everybody was like, you did amazing. And that was so humbling and felt so good because I was real nervous about that. I was real nervous about going on the chain, Chip and Jeff. I usually just hang out behind the camera and hang out here and do this kind of stuff because this is my wheelhouse. This is how I like to be. But a lot of people were so supportive, and it was not just a lot. It was like hundreds, maybe thousands. And that was so handwritten messages. You can't, I don't know. It's just unique. It's amazing. All right. Yeah. All right. Let me see here. All right. Discard Rasquin. Let's see if Bitcoin's still just holding up okay down in here. It's still holding. Discard Rasquin, super chat. Hey, BCB. David Schwartz is saying on Twitter he's happy Bitcoin is on sale. Some months ago, he suggested to take profits so you have life-changing money in XRP. It was just before Bitcoin plummeting. Bitcoin signaled this time. Thanks, man. I don't know. David Schwartz did call it, man. Did call it. We did spend months saying, hey, we're going to $2. And that's where we're looking for a pullback to 85 cents. $2 is where we're going. hoping that it would just pull back to 85 cents and then we just continue on our journey. But obviously, we've been stuck in this range for an incredible long time. Essentially, you look back to what happened in here. We were all studying this live as it was going on. We were super excited about it. It's expected that we were going to have a pullback after $2. Just expected, right? But that hopefully, it would just be quick, short-lived. Hey, we're good to go, and let's keep on going. But we've spent a long time in here. Whether we can solve David's cryptic tweets or not, I don't know how to. He was pretty clear about this one, though, wasn't he? But we did expect 85 cents over here. Got lower than that and has now bounced around for a very long time. So I don't know. If you want to guess on David's tweets, be my guest, but I can't. Varian Gosway super chatted. I've heavily invested in Verge. I'm on the verge of selling it at a loss. Should I hold? I can't answer that for you, man. And we brought Verge up one time on this channel. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying go get Verge. You got to make your own decisions, man. Michael, the super chat. I saw you looking at the Chainlink chart. No, I wasn't. And I may have bookmarked it. Do you like the chart? It is already ran, but it happened in the bear market. I don't remember looking at Chainlink. Yeah, no, but I don't own Chainlink. And Chainlink was one of those coins that was one of the earlier runners. And a lot of people got sucked into that one early and, bought it real high. I personally don't own Chainlink, and it has already done a very big run. Art super chatted, how long will you continue with your channel? Right, so if I walk away from here a multi-millionaire from selling all my crypto or something like that, please, dear God, please, I would still continue with the channel, but it would change. It would change to be different. I don't know. I don't know if it would necessarily always be charts all the time, especially if we go into a long bear market. Maybe making it more fun, more podcast style. Hence, how does my voice sound? And doing more things. Maybe being more active in building in the crypto world. I don't know yet. But this is a major part of my life. And, many years ago I said, retire and stuff like that. And, more think about it, more talk with my wife, more everything. It's just, this has become, it's work. It's a hobby. It's fun. There's relationships involved here. There's all different types of things that keep me coming back and make me not want to leave. So even if, bull run ends, I won't end with this. It's a part of my life. And it's one of those things where it has grown so much that it's a defining part of my life. It's not just a thing. If I quit this and then just went and sat down and played video games all day, the definition of me is some dude who sits around and plays video games all day. And first of all, I don't really play video games very often. I do try to play some Call of Duty before I go to bed. It's a nighttime routine, which I haven't done in almost a month now, but it's a nice nighttime routine to wreck some noobs before I go to bed on COD. But I haven't done that in a while. I do miss that. But no, it's just a part of my life, and I have to figure out how it's going to go forward. And I have ideas, but it's getting real hard for me to be able to expand on those ideas just being me, myself. So whether more people get involved in all of it or not, I'll have to see. And Richard Kennedy, BCB, love you, man. I'm a hodler and have been looking into learning TA for scalp and day trading too. How come you don't scalp or day trade? I can't deal with that stress in my life. I would say the biggest mistake I made in 2017 was committing too much of my time to day trading. My life was constantly stressed out. You are going to get things wrong more than you're going to get them right. You're going to lose 50% on something, then you're going to FOMO buy something back, then you're going to lose 50% again, you're going to FOMO buy something back. This market is so volatile and so crazy. And when you leave trades open, it's a 24-hour market. I learned it's not for me. Dealing with that day trading is not for me. It's not. It's too overwhelming. You are pulling out your phone every minute to check the prices because this volatility is so huge. Just today, I don't even know what today's volatility range is for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, one of the least volatile of the entire space, right? Volatility range up 5.5%, down 4.5% over here, down 5.5%. This is the type of stuff that would cause chaos in regular financial markets. And you go to the altcoin market, and it's even crazier. You have to constantly be looking at your phone, saying, "Have I gotten wrecked today?" So, I just maybe one day, but it's definitely something I don't miss doing at all. If you have very hard rules that you follow, but also we're in an environment where day traders are getting wrecked hard in here. Big time. This is a slop range. It's crushing day traders. So I'm glad I'm not a day trader. But to each their own. All right, Vichy, I missed this one. Wait, here we go. All right, crypto trips. Yeah, at what point do you believe we're going to follow the structure we have been and not set the new low and have a prolonged retrace? All right, so if we dip down here, if we dip into new lows, yeah, we just have to start saying, well, it's broken. It's not following it anymore. And at what point do you say it's not following it anymore? It's hard. So here's where I would say it. There's two different things. I would think it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Hopefully it just stays clear. But if it breaks away from right here, I start saying, well, things are looking different already. Things are already starting to look different. If we even just dip down another, $2,000 from where we're at right now, things are looking different than they did back then. We have seen some deviations happen in this already, as if we did not go back in for a double tap or a double test of the lows, right? We see that did not show up here. So these small variations can exist. And so the hard rule, you'd have to, I could sit here and say, hey, we've dipped down lower right here. It's starting to look different. We don't know for sure. It could dip down here. We could say it's starting to really look different, but we still don't know for sure because technically the low is still holding. We can dip down here. Well, technically the low is still holding, and we did see that we double tapped the lows last time. And really, unfortunately, that's going to have to be how it is on this thing. And then it's not until the low gets taken out that you finally say, oh, yep, see, look, the low got taken out. And that's kind of crummy, right? People don't want to hear that. It's like, oh, it's hindsight, man. Ifs, thens, and buts, and whats, and then eventually happened, and you were right. So I'm just staying true with it. I don't know. I have my two scenarios of what I think. It's that this silly thing just keeps following itself. But the thing that I lean on that I know without having to say, hey, we're just going to copy paste a fractal and continue doing that fractal that we're doing, is to follow what these structures typically do. And it's the thing that helped keep us through May, June, and July. These are what reversal structures typically look like. This is Bitcoin from the inverse perspective. It's gonna be a wait and see. I think the only thing that would tell me, hey, we're not going to go set the new low, is if Bitcoin comes in here and it clears out that 45,800 price. All right, I'm going to get through these quick because now I'm over 2 hours, guys. All right. Okay, so the thing is, too, I'm not going to have a video tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be heading over to Tony from Thinking Crypto and doing an interview over there. If something happens crazy with prices, I'll try to put together a quick video. But otherwise, plan on me not being here. And hopefully Bitcoin just kind of just chills out in here tomorrow. But let me get through these quick ones real fast. I'm not going to answer these with long-winded format. Vichy VRC, what's your favorite XRPL token? I don't follow a lot of the XRPL tokens. Derby Albie super chatted, hey, what do you think of Holochain? I don't follow Holochain. Can it go up? I don't know. I don't follow it. I'm sorry. Matthew Pixon with super chat. Do you have Elliott Wave Pro services? He says Bitcoin fifth wave is yet to come, which would take out the fifth high. Right. So I see other Elliott waivers out there saying that Bitcoin's going to go off into a fifth wave, right? And that this was not the fifth wave. Well, we'll see. We'll see. What I think a lot of people have to answer to is, why are we acting like a bear market? Why are we acting like a bear market for Bitcoin? This is not bull. This is all bear. Why are we acting like a bear? Where's the bull structure set up saying we're going to break out and go higher when we're doing bear market? This is all bear. So I would ask those things. I don't know. And, I'm not in that camp. So I think this argument has to be fought. Why are we doing bear market? KM Super Chat, what price will you sell XRP and what percentage of it? Right. So my exit plan has always been in the $10 to $13 range for 65%. Eric Taylor, fib extensions on some altcoins not being fully reached as the previous fractals or past performance. So are those your two main reasons altcoin runnings? Many look broken trends, back tests as resistance. Well, if you go study how the markets looked in 2018 before they took off, it's not like everything was on trend line trends. It just happened very suddenly within a 30-day period. So that's what I'm hoping for. Appeased, Super Chat. Hey, BCB, I'd love to know what your thoughts and purpose on how crypto ties in. Also, do you believe in the notion that XRP is God's token? What content creators out there shilling that it's God's token? Oh, gosh. On purpose. And how purpose, are we talking real deep meaning? I don't think I can get that deep right now. I appreciate the super chat. I don't think I can get that deep right now. I'm pretty tired. We're at 2 hours and 21 minutes into this thing. I'm about to have to pull the plug. Dr. Music super chat. Hey, BCB, all these crypto questions must be getting tiring. What are your hobbies? What is the first thing you will do in cashing out of your XRP? Briskets. Yeah, right. So then I open up the brisket YouTube channel and we all just test briskets and pork shoulders, pork butts, ribs, sausage, all that good stuff. Maybe learn how to cook a roll. I don't know how to cook a roll. I'm just kidding. This is legitimately a hobby for me. It's very cheesy to say that, but this is always a hobby for me. It's the first thing I look at when I wake up in the morning, the last thing I look at when I lay down at night. I love coin collecting. I love watching people open coin rolls and search for coins. It's kind of like, if you like watching people open Pokemon card packs or something like that. I like watching people open rolls and find silver coins. I also like doing it myself. It's a lot harder for me now. It's harder for me to get those coins and stuff. People know I've done a lot of that in the past. Coin roll hunting. I've got kids and stuff, right? So I spend a lot of time doing family stuff and sitting around, and we go for walks a lot. I like fishing. I do fishing, catfish and bass. I do enjoy going to the ocean and fishing in the ocean too, but that's, far and few in between. But I like doing it like doing bass fishing and stuff more often. What else do I like? I like disc golf. I love disc golf. And I'm trying to think. I do like cooking. Why don't I ever say that? This question is, I like barbecuing. I like doing that stuff. Outdoor cooking. Outdoor cooking is fun. Because you know what? So I talk about with my wife. I have use cases, right? And so, unfortunately, she had we were struggling with this jar the other day. I couldn't get it open. I couldn't get it open, right? And so she goes over and she opens it, and boom, she gets the jar open. And I couldn't get it open. I'm like, oh crud, it's gonna hurt my use case. And I'm tall, right? I think people think I'm short. I'm not short. I'm tall. And so one of my use cases and value propositions to my marriage is that I'm tall. So I can reach up on the top cabinets above the refrigerators. I can get down the the vases. I can get down the candles. If she needs something put away really high, I can always take care of that. And one thing that she really likes is she likes my barbecue and she likes my outdoor cooking. And it's like a value proposition of me. So it's not just a hobby, but it's also a value proposition of me as a husband. Oh boy, she's listening and laughing right now. I see her in the chat. So I enjoy it. And I'm decent at it too. Like I always judge when I go out and eat barbecue. Oh, mine's better than this. And like I'm not like I didn't take any classes or anything. I've just learned, just like I learned how to do all this charting and stuff, trial and error, right? You make some really, really bad brisket in the first few runs at it. And then you finally make one that's pretty good. And you're like, oh man, what did I do there? That was awesome. And you just modify that a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So I enjoy doing that because it's like a big reward at the end. It takes like 10 hours to do something. And then at the end, is it good? Better hope it's good. And not only that, if it's good, then the people who are eating it, they think you're pretty cool. They're like, dude, this guy is cool. And I'm like, I know. Yes. I know. Right. Clip City, Xbox or PlayStation. We need a COD stream. I own both of them. All right. Odysseus, yes, I'm over 6 foot tall. All right. That's it. That's going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you guys for coming out today. I'm glad we didn't have to sit here and go through a terror moment. I was prepared to do that if we needed to do that today, as these prices pulled back for Bitcoin, as we're down in here. But I was ready for it if we were going to have it, and we would have to sit here and cry together, but it is still holding. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I want to thank you for all the support. I want to thank you for everybody hanging out in the chat. Prices look okay right now. We'll keep an eye on it, and follow me on Twitter, bcbacker. Yeah. Of course, it's always bcbacker.com. Check that one out. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the new microphone. I'll work on improving it. I'll work on my audio in this room. And I'm tired. Again, no video tomorrow unless things get crazy. Even then, it would be a really short video because I am doing an interview over there on Thinking Crypto with Tony. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need to pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back.